Hey guys, it's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz. I've been saying Altcoin Buzz for a while, and the reason is that I'm familiar with the alt-right, not that I'm part of the alt-right, but I usually hear people pronounce it alt-right and not alt-right. Anyway, a bit confusing, but yeah, Altcoin Buzz guys, and altcoins, this is what we're all about at Altcoin Buzz, believe it or not. Now, of course, we're going to look at Ethereum. I've been trading Ethereum like crazy over these past few days. I've actually managed to get most of the big moves up. I got stopped out for small losses a few times. I'm going to show you one really awesome signal over here, which has led to new moves up over the past couple of days. I'm going to give you my perspective on the longer term time frame of Ethereum, kind of break down the market structure that we've seen so far, look at sort of good levels to potentially buy back in at. I'm also going to go over what a stop loss feature is. So this is an absolutely critical thing to understand if you're trading, and especially if you're trading on margin. We'll also briefly touch on the AAB token. This is an exchange token which I bought tiny amounts, but like I must admit, I bought it right at the bottom here. I was just buying like 10 bucks, 10 bucks, 10 bucks. I got like about 70 bucks worth, and it's got like 150%. And I'll tell you why I bought and why I think it's gone up. Although please note, this is not financial advice. We're also going to have a quick look at some of the responses to this tweet, where we asked people which DeFi coin they thought would pop next. And I'll briefly touch on SafeHaven. This was a tweet which I responded to someone talking about SafeHaven, and I was kind of surprised to see it blow up. But it really is interesting, and they really do have more than just crypto inheritance. So we'll have a quick look at this article. One of the people responded to our tweet saying that not DeFi, but BNB is ready. I personally agree with this. I have a BNB position ready. I'll very briefly go over what my Bitcoin trading strategy was before this move up, which you can see from my Twitter at Hook to the Chain. I'll give you a brief outlook on what I think the market is going to do over the coming months and year or two. And finally, we will look at one or two of these altcoins which I've been holding. Okay guys, so we got a lot going on for today's video. Let's start with this chart. So this is just nuts. Look at this pattern over here. So what this is, it's called a failure test, and it's one of the easiest and best patterns to trade. Now, what happens with the failure test is that you have a trend line of support. For example, all of these blue lines are potential trend lines. Actually, this is more appropriate if you go down to the 15-minute time frame. So you see this blue trend line. So what happens is you would expect this to hold support, right? The next time we come down. But when it doesn't, and we get a failure at this level, and then we get a strong move coming back, we have what's called a failure test. In other words, they tested this line, it failed to hold, but then it came right back up. And this is typically a very bullish signal, because what happens is a lot of people get stopped out at the bottom of these trend lines, but then there isn't enough selling pressure to sell it any further, and then the buyers come rushing back in, and then there's no more sellers left, and it keeps on going up. So as you can see, we had this trend line. This is of course on the 15-minute time frame, but you can see this on longer time frames as well. And this just worked really beautifully. Over here we had a break and then a comeback, and it would have been a very nice buy opportunity over there. Here we had another small break of the trend line, again with a wick coming up. That's what you usually want to see, a nice wick. And then of course we didn't see a very big move up here, but then here we saw it again. Look, this trend line touched twice, and then we saw a wick and we just came up. We saw the same thing happen again, a wick and coming up. And what's really interesting, guys, now I'm not sure if we're going to see this again right now. Hopefully I'll publish this video in time for you to potentially take action on this. But like right now what we're seeing is a bullish structure over here, which is a descending wedge. And I've already bought back Ethereum here. I sold it. I got really lucky. I sold at 438. I actually had a stop buy at 440. Sorry, I sold at 338 and I had stopped buy at 440 in case I was wrong and we made another move up. But unfortunately, I didn't get stopped out. We came down. I already bought back a bunch at 430. I bought a tiny bit over here as well at 429. But I've got some very big buy orders below this range, because what I'm hoping is that we will see another similar pattern to this, where we see real capitulation, where we come back to this line and then we just bam, have another wick pushing us right back up. But that being said, right now seems like a semi-decent time to buy Ethereum as well. Okay, so that's it for the shorter time frame chart, but let's have a look now on the daily chart. So guys, by the way, this video is sponsored by AAX. It's an exchange which I've used a couple times. It's a pretty smooth exchange, and they offer a whole range of futures and leverage trading as well. Although guys, please don't get into leverage trading unless you know what you're doing, because it's a very easy way to lose a lot of money. Okay, but let's look at this Ethereum chart now on the daily time frame. So as you can see, what we had ever since March, ever since the massive crash in March, is that we had these support resistance flips, all right? So if we just zoom in here a little bit, you can see at the $147 level, we had resistance over here, we came down, we found support, we moved back up. Then at the $175 level, we resisted it once, we came back up, we came down, found support, moved up again. And we saw these support resistance flips, essentially creating a kind of steps moving up. And this is a very bullish structure. And this is when I made the video a few weeks back saying that Ethereum is about to explode, because this is a very typical type of structure you see before a parabolic move up. And of course, that's exactly what we saw, which was really awesome. And now what's interesting is that the next resistance here is at the $400 level. So I'm not saying we're going to come down to the $400 level, but what I am saying is that if we do, this could provide a very, very interesting buy opportunity. Now, as I say, I personally am in an Ethereum position right now. I got in again between the 430 and I hope that I will get in more between the $425 and $423 range. I'll personally be stopping out at 419.99 just in case I'm wrong about this pullback structure. But if I am wrong, a new opportunity to get into Ethereum could be very interesting if we come down to the $400 level. But that being said, I'm not sure that we will. So, we've had a very bullish structure up till now. We had a nice breakout over here. The only thing which is maybe a tiny bit concerning is that we have bearish divergence on the RSI. So a bearish divergence is when you see an oscillator, an indicator like this going down. So you see we have lower highs over here, but on the daily we're seeing higher highs. So that might be a sign that we would correct a little bit. However, we already have corrected from this top, 7%. So that might be enough of a correction to account for this bearish divergence. And I personally think that we're ready for another move up. Otherwise, of course, I wouldn't be in a decently sized Ethereum position. But now that we're on this exchange and we're talking about trading, I want to briefly touch on the stop order. So the stop order is a very, very important, probably, honestly, guys, this is the most important thing to know about when you're trading. Because if you enter a position, like let's say you buy $10,000 worth of Ethereum at this level, and then you kind of think it will go up, but you're not so sure, because of course you can never be assured of anything in trading. There's always a risk that you will lose. And if you don't have a stop loss, and especially if you're not at the computer, and even if you are, what can happen is the price can fall very drastically. I mean, cryptocurrency is a very volatile market. If the stock market crashes now, something which scares me personally, and one of the reasons why I have stop losses on most or pretty much all of my Bitcoin and Ethereum positions, is that I am scared of a sort of 30 to 50% pullback in one day, just like we had before. And that's why I have my stop losses, and if I'll get stopped out and I'll lose a little bit sometimes. But if I have a stop loss, then I limit my downside risk, all right? So that's what this stop order is for. So for example, let's say I want to stop out at 419.99. So in the stop order form over here, you can see a trigger price and a price. So let's assume I have my Ethereum order on this exchange and I want to stop out at 419.99. So I put 419.99 in the trigger section here. That means that if the price reaches this level, then it triggers my stop loss. And then what you want to do with the price is you want to have it well below your trigger. And what this ensures is that your stop loss gets executed. Because let's say, for example, I have my limit at 419.9. Now, what this means is that my order may not get executed. Why? Because if people have stop orders here before me, and if they are selling very heavily at the 419.99 level, my order may not get filled, and the price may very quickly drop to 419.5, for example. And in that case, this order will not get filled because I'm only selling at 419.9. Whereas if I put 400 here, then it basically doesn't matter how fast the price falls. It's almost inevitable that my order will get filled. Okay, and then of course you put the amount of Ethereum. Let's say you have 10 Ethereum, and then you click sell Ethereum, and that will stop you from losing too much money in your trades. Okay, so now I'll briefly touch on the AAB token. So as I mentioned, this is a sponsored video. I personally decided to buy some AAB tokens. Well, first of all, I like collecting cryptocurrencies, and I thought it was a bit ridiculous that we had such a huge drawdown from the top here. And when I saw that we had started creating a sort of bottoming structure here after this parabolic move down, I thought it was an interesting time to just buy tiny amounts. Now, I literally just bought, you can see in my trade history if you want, I literally just bought, 50 AAB, which was worth about $10. You can see here, $8.23. And I was just kind of DCAing or dollar cost averaging in while we had this bottoming pattern. And the reason is, well, first of all, it didn't seem to make sense that we had corrected so much when the exchange seems pretty decent. There's nothing particularly wrong with it that I can think of. And, if people are using the AAB tokens to get discounts on trading fees, then it's only natural that at some point people will be buying it and using it. So yeah, I'm not saying I recommend you to buy, but it's just something to watch out for. If the price is going down and it's stabilizing and it's gone down a lot and you like the project or you can see use case for it, then, why not just buy a little bit? But yeah, that being said, guys, we've already had a 130% pump. I personally wouldn't be buying at this exact level. So please don't just FOMO into this just because I'm mentioning it, all right? Okay, now someone from the Altcoin Buzz team asked me if I really thought Ethereum was going to $800. I made a video recently talking about how Ethereum could reach $800. And honestly, guys, the truth is I think Ethereum could reach much higher than that. And I think it will reach much higher than that. I think it's pretty much guaranteed. But as a trader, I'm always limiting my risk. So I'm going to be trying to buy Ethereum bottoms, trying to buy the pullbacks, of course, always with my stop loss a bit below, until there's a clear sign that this bull run has ended. So what that means is that, yes, I do think we can get to 800, but if we don't, my risk is limited. So I don't want you guys to be buying or thinking, hey, Frank said it's going to go to 800, so I'll just buy. It's like, no, first of all, you need to make your own decisions when you're trading, when you're buying, all right? I'm not a god. I don't know everything. I can be wrong. I am wrong often. And even if I'm right, if you take a trade setup, which I've done in a video, I'll often be changing my stop loss as price progresses, or I'll be adding to my position, or I'll be taking risk off the table. So trading is something that you learn while doing. You can't just learn from watching a few videos and then, doing what someone says. It really just doesn't work that way. But as I said before, this is a very bullish structure. We had a parabolic move up. We had a consolidation now for about a week and a half. We've had another move up here. We have solid volume. I don't see any reason why this will go down, and I don't see any reason why we should even call a top yet or kind of guess where the top will be. It's really a fool's game to guess exactly where the top will be or even where the local top will be. The important thing is just to manage your risk. All right, guys, then we talked about which DeFi coin do you think is ready to pop next. Someone here mentioned Ocean, and I'm pretty sure that pumped recently. I looked at the chart a while back. So someone mentioned SafeHaven, and I said that I've been holding SafeHaven for a while now. Most people think it's all about crypto inheritance, but it's so much more than that. So let's briefly look at what SafeHaven actually is, which products they actually offer. So broadly speaking, SafeHaven, which is on the VeChain blockchain, by the way, deals with asset management. Okay, so they have the wallets, they have masternode solutions, pooling services, inheritance solutions. They have financial management, and they have product engineering. So this is the hardware ledger for ease of use and owner mobility. And by the way, guys, this is an article from Deepika on our website, Altcoin Buzz. So first of all, they have, of course, the Inherity product, which SafeHaven is famous for, and which, of course, is their flagship solution. So Inherity is a unique product that addresses the issues of digital inheritance. It allows the transfer of digital assets in such a way that an initiator's family members, businesses, and stakeholders can access and share the assets in case of an unfortunate event. So that's valuable in and of itself, but now let's have a look at the other products which they have. So ThorPay. So ThorPay, kind of similar to TrustSwap, it can be used to raise funds in all kinds of cryptocurrencies. So users can start collecting funds for an ICO, and additionally they can keep track of token contributions and distribution. And more generally speaking, ThorPay is a mass payment platform that offers a multi-payment solution. So it's capable of managing all the professional and complex payments in a simple way. Then furthermore, they have SafeKey. So SafeKey provides strong hardware encryption, and it is a highly reliable solution developed in partnership with NitroKey. So for example, if your assets are stolen, or your device is stolen, or you've forgotten your password, then this provides a solution for that, which I think is very important because, if you just forget your password or it gets lost or stolen, it can be very concerning. So it's incredible how many different things they have here. Now they have the Trust Alliance Network, or TAN, and the Trust Alliance Network aims to connect the blockchain users to blockchain law. It will work to directly connect the users with legal professionals. One of the key features is that the blockchain law professionals can advertise their services. Moreover, the community members will be able to upload educational articles related to blockchain law. And then of course you have the Safe ID, which unifies the whole SafeHaven ecosystem as it offers a single sign-on system. And then finally we have the SafeHaven masternode. So the SafeHaven masternodes play a pivotal role in making the ecosystem more stable. And they also have a very well-defined economic model. And in return for providing stability, the masternode holders will receive rewards, privileges, and advantages. So as you can see, the SHA token has utility in all of these products: in Inherity, in ThorPay, in ThorBlock, in TAN, and in the SafeHaven masternodes. So really they have a lot of things going on, and I'm very happy to be a hodler of SHA. Okay, so in any case, now back to trading. You guys, if you want to see sort of quick and time-sensitive updates, you can follow me at Hooked to the Chain on Twitter. I often post which trades I'm getting into. And in this trade I posted in this video, I was saying how we had this ascending triangle and I would be looking to buy support of this blue box. We came just above the blue box. I was at the computer at the time, so I saw a double bottom at the $11,750 level. It was just above this blue box, sort of just above the support range. I got in a little bit there, and then I was also saying in this video how I would have a stop buy at 12,000. And obviously that did very nicely, so I'm pretty happy about how that trade went. And right now, I'm actually adding more to my position since we've already corrected a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Then there's one thing which I want to touch on. Now, this isn't fun to talk about, but I think it's really, really important that you guys, especially if you're relatively new to the market, and especially if you've made a lot of money in the market, is to be aware of how quickly the tables can turn. So this is what I think of the crypto market. Short term, super bullish, weekly uptrend with volume. We have DeFi, ETH 2.0, the gold pumping, the dollar falling. It's just everything is set up very well for a nice pump. But the S&P 500 is at a top now. Let me show you. So as you can see here, the S&P is at 3,382. And it's quite possible that we'll have some resistance here. Now, I personally am just speculating that we will see another high here and that we might come down after that, but it's certainly very possible that we correct from here at this level. And the last time when we had this crash on the S&P 500, Bitcoin fell like crazy. So I'm just saying, if we have another crash like that, you can see this market structure has changed. We were very bullish. Let's have a look at the weekly time frame. So you can see that over the past several years, we were basically just going up and up and up with small corrections. We had a sort of more intense correction over here in September 2018. And of course, this also correlated with Bitcoin's correction. And then again, we had another correction here in February 2020, and this also correlated with Bitcoin's correction. So I'm just saying, beware, if this corrects heavily again, it's very possible that Bitcoin will correct. So have your stop losses in place. Don't just assume that it's going to go up and up, and be comfortable with losing 50 to 70% of your portfolio if you do not have stop losses in place. All right, guys? But that being said, long term, I'm crazy bullish. I mean, traditional investments are losing a ton of value. I mean, for example, when traditional investments start losing more and more value, especially if the S&P 500 crashes again, people will be looking to alternative investments. They will see that Bitcoin outperformed the stock market even after this dump that it had. They'll see that gold is outperforming and will likely continue. And they'll be wondering why that is. And hey, maybe, just maybe, they will learn about scarce assets and hard money. Then, of course, the low interest rates are enabling people to take higher risks. So, of course, they can invest in riskier proposals like Bitcoin. And then if we have a recession or a depression even, and people lose lots of money, and then they see Bitcoin going up, or at least Bitcoin holding its value, they'll be wondering, why is this still going up? Why is it still holding its value? And so I really think that, we need a sort of, well, we don't necessarily need it, but it's likely that we need a sort of cataclysmic event, a very sort of intense and hard event for people worldwide financial event, before they realize that, the financial system is very troubled. And of course, that's how Bitcoin arose, right? In 2010, after the financial crisis. So I wouldn't be surprised if after the next recession or depression, Bitcoin comes back with a vengeance and, makes new highs. And so, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for me for today. Let me know what you thought. I love to read the comments. I love to interact with you guys. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.